This video honestly is for champion men. And this is a video training that I wanted to do for you guys as it related to modern business. So this is a modern business training for modern champion men. And this really mattered to me because in the grand scheme of things, I know that I'm just like you guys. At some point I would go to seminars and I would sit on the floor, sit in the back, go to my room, go through all this stuff because I was really looking to make more money in my business for my family. I was looking to I had all these coaches that went to webinars and read all the books and stuff. And every time I would leave, I would get all pumped up, go home, and then sit alone by myself and be like, shit, how do I figure all this stuff out? Right? So even though I thought that learning more stuff and putting these things into play was going to make me more money and I could be more productive to take my business to the next level, whether it was add more money, whether it was like add 6 figures, add another building to the property portfolio that I had, whatever it was, I would still be stuck in the same freaking place, right? And it always left me wondering like, shit, what's wrong with me? I can't be that bad. I can't be that stupid. Do I suck that bad where other people go to seminars, learn the same stuff I'm learning and leave and take off? But it wasn't until I lost everything that I couldn't go back to those rooms. I didn't have enough money to go, right? I went and I borrowed money from other people. But when I finally got in those rooms and I learned, what would happen was I would go home and I would go to war in my business and I would have this massive level of production. I would start to make money and then my house would fail. Or I wouldn't feel good about myself. Or I would do all this other shit. And I was on this emotional roller coaster about what to do all the time. And when I finally rebuilt my business and I took a look at my life and where I had brought it up to that point, I felt empty. I was like, shit, who am I now? I was like, fine, I went off and I won, but then I lost. So I started going to personal development seminars and I would sit in those rooms and everybody would be hyped and I would be like, oh shit, contribution and this feels so awesome. And this is the feeling that I need to have in myself. Because naturally during those times I was going over the inner game work, the other stuff. And then I would leave that place all pumped up and then I would look at my business like, yeah, and I would jump head first into my business and then all of a sudden that would wear off too, right? Because I had all this power but really nowhere to put it. And then I had all this business information and then I didn't have the power to put it anywhere and then I would eventually just taper off where I just didn't feel like doing shit, right? And it was weird because I was in this place maybe like you are sometimes. Maybe you feel like, look, I'm here, right? So Victor, this is where I am. This is where I am today in my business. Yet I want to be here. I want to be this place. See, the challenge for most men, right, is that once you get clear on where you are and you tell yourself the truth and you stop lying about shit, there's this gap between where you are and where you want to be. And it's clear to see because this is paradise over here. This is our possibility of how shit could be in our life, in our business, the money that we want to make, producing and executing and doing this stuff that men like us really desire, right? Right? In our businesses, making a lot of money, like spending time with our wives, with our kids, living the dream. But reality is sometimes that we're over here. And when we're in this place, we can't always see exactly how to get to this place, right? So it doesn't matter how much you know from here, if you can't take the leap from this place and land, boom, square and heavy over here, this gap seems so far that it just like, shit, why even try? And I was in that place. I was like, am I that bad? Do I suck that bad as a human being, as a man, that I can't take my business, even though it was doing well, right? When I rebuilt it, multi-million-dollar business, but I couldn't take it over here. I couldn't make the money that I wanted to or take it to the next level of that. And then all of a sudden, over time, I crashed because I didn't have the power to go from here to there. I could only make small incremental steps and I'd fail, fuck up, and then have to move back here. Or I take, boom, boom, 2 steps and then all of a sudden I have a fuck up and I'd have to go back here. This is typically the cycle of most champion men, right? So you may be asking, Victor, what is a champion? Well, a champion man to me is a driven man. Somebody who's looking to conquer, looking to succeed in his life. Maybe you. Maybe when you were a kid, you were told, sit down, shut up, you're too loud, you're too intense, go blah, blah, blah. Maybe you got labels. I got ADD, PTSD, all this other stuff. But in the grand scheme of things, what it is that you're creative. You're driven. You're motivated. You can't just sit down. You want to go against the status quo. You don't want to do what everybody else is doing. You have this thing in your mind and your brain, this purpose that says you're built to be more. To me, you're a champion and you should be winning, right? So for me, what really changed the whole thing in my life was after we rebuilt the business and I opened Warhorse Strength Camp, right? Some of you guys know what that is or not, but I took a liking to going back to my roots of what it was that I was doing. I was a soldier, I was an MMA fighter, I was professional at that. And then when I got back into training, after all of my highs and lows in business, I went back to getting on the mat, rolling and wrestling and fighting with my brothers to me. So, but I noticed a difference and distinction between people who were average and mediocre and the ones who went on to go on to be elite. So I want you to picture this. So let's say everyone knows the same thing. You're all equal. Same thing in business. If you go to business, we all know marketing, right? The basic marketing funnel is just, I have a message, I put it out there. I talk about people's problems. I talk about the pains associated with it. I give them an offer and they opt in to buy whatever it is that I have, and we talk, or they buy right off the bat, and then I decide whether they're going to be a fit or not. Right? In sales is the same damn way. I get on the phone with them, or they go through my sales funnel where I talk to them about what's going on, I find out what their real needs are, and then I match my product with those needs and I close. We all know the same thing, just like an athlete. An athlete knows, right? Let's say a fighter. You know how to punch, kick, wrestle, get up, submit, all this other stuff. But I'll be honest with you, the separator when I got back into the fight game, just like going to the business seminars with marketing and sales, was the person who had the power to execute on those things were the people who went from mediocre and average to elite. And then it got me thinking like, okay, cool. So as I started my journey, personal journey, after losing everything, and I was wrestling all the time, I started doing my strength and conditioning, we opened up Warhorse Strength Camp. The athletes who were committed to come and work with us became elite. Those guys went to the UFC, those guys went to the Olympic Training Center if they were wrestlers, those guys went to the NFL, those guys went for state championship wrestlers, all this other stuff. Prior to that, they were just getting in the game, but they were motivated, right? They were champion-minded. So when I started opening the game up later as we built Champion as a business system, right? To be able to take men, male entrepreneurs that were warrior type minded men and move them into championship status in their business and their life. Here was the difference. And it's a concept right now that we call reverse productivity, right? Because what I used to do, check this out. I used to go to business seminars. I would sit, I would take notes, and I would be like, oh man, that's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna do this. And then I would leave and go home by myself and be like, shit, that's a lot of freaking work. What do I do? I'm not gonna do this. What else can I do today? Let me go do this. Let me go do some shit that I did when I left. Maybe just kind of avoid this, and I'll try, but it's hard. Maybe I'll call the guy I met. Look, I got a bag full of business cards. None of that shit worked, right? So when we did the reverse side of this thing, the reverse productivity, what I started off with was I started looking at personal power. I spent more time there. I spent more time getting understanding about my habits, my character traits. I started building the mindset that was required to get me through those rough times when I'm like, shit, I put power first. Then after power, I went back over and I took a look at my productivity in my business. So now all of the information that seemed to be a level 10 stress and overwhelm was now really a level 6. Why? Because I was a level 10 man. So to reverse the polarity of this, when I matched up now power along with productivity in my business, I began to make more profit and produce. See the difference? But it wasn't until I had to put those two together, like I said, really it came from just my sports analogy, I can back it up. You have an average or mediocre athlete, you teach him the mindset, the character traits, the abilities to be able to get the job done in these habits that are warranted for people who want to go from this level to the next level, and this person became elite. And that's what we did in our business, which is how Champion formed. The grand scheme about Champion is, man, really, I just wanted to make more money in my business. I was so tired of the ups and downs of great time, great profit, great productivity, and then next month, total fucking crash. And a lot of men that I talk to, maybe that's you. Maybe you're like, hey, look, I've been to all the seminars, I've done tons of coaching, I've been to the mentors, I've been on webinars and books and podcasts and all this other stuff. And when I get off, I'm all hyped up to go get it all done, but then it doesn't get done. Or maybe you're the other guy. You spend an asinine amount of time at personal developments, feeling good, Tony Robbins stuff, like all these different people, Joe Rogan podcasts, and you feel good, like, yeah, I'm gonna charge the hill. And then when that stuff wears off, you have nothing. And then you look at your business like I used to, be like, dude, what's wrong with me? What happened? I felt so good, but then when I had all that power, I had nowhere to put it. And then when I have all this productivity and it dies down, I have no power. So what I did was I reversed the polarity from what I saw with the athletes and what I saw with just the people I was surrounding myself with, who were interested in taking power and hooking it to productivity, and therefore they were able to produce more profits, right? So maybe that's you. Maybe that's you. This concept is very simple. This concept is a no-brainer concept, but it's one of those deals where very few people want to involve themselves in it for any length of time because there is a commitment level that's required. It isn't like all the other fancy feel-good stuff, but I wanted to share this with you from a business perspective. That when you take a look at your business and you hook power with productivity in your business, instead of just going to go get more information, you don't always need more information. What you need is the power to execute on that information. That brings you up to champion. That makes you a winner and somebody who's able to win it all, right? So what is power? Power, by definition, is the ability to act or do. That's it. So, but when you are involved in the right power for a man, what am I meaning by that? So let's say we take power in your body. That means you're working out, you're training, you're fit. You're actually doing the things that a champion-minded man would do or a warrior-minded man would do. That means you're working out, you're taking care of yourself, you're pushing yourself beyond your normal capabilities again. You're actually feeling this thing, right? That's power, right? So if you take power in your body, then you take power in your spiritual being, like your mind, your purpose. What are you here for? Why are you doing the shit that you're doing? What is your calling? What do you believe? That's power. And when you're functioning from your body now being powerful, your being powerful, now you tether that with, how do I put this? Your family, right? Everybody preaches balance. I don't believe in balance if you're a champion-minded man or you're a warrior type guy. There's no balance. You're putting power into yourself so you can go and wage war in your business or your marketplace, right? So when you bond with your wife and your kids, that means you're looking to be a better dad, be a better husband, spend more time with them, actually really connect. So that way when you are moving on and waging war and you're going to war in your business, you don't deteriorate in your mind like, damn, did I tell my kids and wife I love them? Did I spend a little bit of time with them? I feel like a shitty dad. You don't have to go through that. So now you have real power in you. Power first in yourself, power in your mind, your character traits, your habits, things that you're willing to do and not do. You're a guy that's willing to get the job done. Now you've put your power into your purpose, your spiritual being, and who you really are. You're now training and you're being fit. And you're training yourself like a real man is supposed to be doing out there and not pussyfooting around like other people. And now you're bonding with your wife and your kids. So now you have this additional thing where you have this bond, you have this completion of who you really are. And then you take all of that power that you've now generated, because you're going to have to do this, into what was now old information or whatever it is you learned or whatever it is you're doing or you know that you aren't doing enough of, and you can go and fully and wholly commit yourself into this arena. For whatever your business is, all the information that you've learned, shit that you haven't done, now you can actually go and you can get after this. And once you're able to get into this piece, your productivity into your business, that productivity in your business is your marketing, your sales, your conversion strategies, automating systems, whatever that is for you, right? That's going to execute and grow your business and take it to the next level. You will now begin to produce real profits, measurable profits. But you can't do that, 1, without power, 2, without the massive amount of productivity necessary, 3, that'll generate the profits that you want so you can actually hit the next level, because let's be honest, that's really all there is. So when I started to understand the power in what I like to consider the reverse productivity concept that I created. At first, like I said, just saw it in the athletes, not a big deal. I was like, what made this person better than the other ones? Other than the fact that this person put in the time, the energy, the sight unseen working out, the training and stuff like that, he was able to trump this other person. And then I was like, huh, okay. Then when I started tethering power hooked to money and productivity, my life changed. And all of a sudden there was this completion to say, shit, there's no level that I can't hit. But you see, most men in today's marketplace don't get that, but that is the modern game of business. See, if you won't play business that way, you might not succeed. So if you don't begin to understand the reverse productivity model that we use in Champion, you may not win, but I want to help you do that. So if this is something that you want to be a part of with us, first, this is for, if you haven't at least made 100 grand in your business, this may not work for you because you won't understand the stresses and the requirements required, if I could say that, to actually get to the next level, because you're just starting. Maybe you're just in this phase still of information required and needed, right? That's not my guy. But our guys recognize, look, we already know this. We already understand the amount of work. We don't need more shit, even though we think we need it. What we really need to attach to that is power. And once we can bridge the gap between power and productivity, we can stand in the middle and get profit anywhere we go, right? Anywhere we go. That's how I want to look at this with you. That's how I want you guys to look at this with me, all right? So who this is not for? This is not for guys who aren't committed. And this isn't for guys who are not committed right now. This is for people who are ready to make that change and you want to come on board. And here's how this is going to work. You're going to fill out an application and we're going to talk. If you don't have a business enough to be able to scale it, put the power into it so you can take it to the next level, this probably is not going to be for you. This is for guys who are ready to go to the next level and committed to do it right now, okay? And I hope that that's you. So this has to matter. You have to be a man willing to provide for his family, to do whatever it takes to be able to get the ball going, to be able to add the power and productivity to your business so you can make the profits and free your family from the bondage that you currently have them in. Because if the man falls, everybody fails. You cannot fall, which is why your power is so important to push productivity, to take your business to the next level, and we will help you do that. So for all you guys out there that are interested in doing something right now, fill out the application, let's talk. If it's a fit, we will invite you on board. If it's not a fit, man, we'll have a good conversation. I'll tell you what I think you can do with and or without us, and you can get this done. But don't hesitate, because everything you do now may be hinged on these 1 or 2 decisions to move forward and get something done. All right, let's get that thing done together.